I'd like to welcome everyone to the Goshen Township Trustee meeting, April 13th, 2015, 7 p.m. Please be sure to sign in and check the box if you'd like to speak. Now we'll start the meeting with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second motion to accept the minutes.
Roll call vote, Mr. McCracken?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Choose initial or sign that.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. McCracken?
Yes.
Just a note on that, it's pretty high this month, but we did buy a car, and we had 3 payrolls, so that's why I saw that. The March 2015 bank statements in balance, and everything, both accounts checked out. I did contact Volunteer Energy last month after our meeting regarding natural gas, and then before I signed with them, I checked again with ISG, and on their website it says no penalty for canceling your contract. But that's for homeowners. Businesses, there was a $430 penalty, so we did not go with, we did not break that contract, but I did negotiate a better price with ISG. Volunteer was quoting $4.99 for gas, and the other company, ISG, quoted $4.91. But that would be from December of this year through November of next year. And we did sign that contract, and we'll have some good savings from that. That's it.
The bank statements initial.
I'll get them after the meeting.
Oh, okay. Okay, Jim?
March totals, we used 272 gallons of fuel, put 1,072 miles on trucks, had 2 burials, used 25 ton of salt and grit mix, and been working, all the intersections are broomed, been working on patching and cleaning up cemeteries, so that's all I have.
Derek?
We had 39 runs for March, in which 4 were fire, which were a slow month for a change. And then we had 35 EMS runs, in which 23 were in Goshen Township, 5 were in Butler Township, 1 in Knox, and 6 other calls. And before I get on my usual complaints, we had an incident on April 1st, and I'd like to send my appreciation to the Mahoning County Hazmat and the EMA director. He did a fantastic job assisting us with our situation in Damascus. But my usual complaints is we've been running a lot of calls here this month so far, and I'm taking a beating, my guys are taking a beating responding to these calls, and I would recommend, if we could, to close Pine Lake Road between Duck Creek and State Route 14 due to safety issues. I went down through there with our brush truck a couple weeks ago, and that was not a good move on my part.
Have you been through the actual patch?
I know it's been patched, but
I mean, it's still rough as it was, but at least now
it's still rough.
Yeah.
I would personally like to see what we could do to, and obviously that's not up to me, but for safety issues. And even Garfield Road, I was pumping a basement out, I think it was Friday, and it was ridiculous. People are slowing down, you know, to a halt just to get through the road to make it passable.
I fully agree with you. I mean, I yesterday afternoon went out and drove around through Milton and Berlin and our township just to see where they've been patching. They've got very little patching done as of yet out this way. Yeah, our roads are terrible. Everything in the western part of the county is terrible. I'm sure you hear from the other fire chiefs. I sort of, on the news the other night, Pat was on there, and his big thing was, well, we're going to go where the traffic counts are. That's where we're going to fix the roads first. And the low traffic count roads are pretty much going to be at the end of the list. Well, that's all of us out here.
Yeah, it's typical for us.
I mean, we can keep pounding him. That's all I know that we can do. I wish it was something else. I've requested from the new auditor that see what the difference in the tax monies that went into the county with the CUV increases out here, because I really feel that that money should, one way or another, float back to the townships that it come from, not go to the high traffic townships. And I'd like to see them put maybe what the commissioners got back towards roads or something to help alleviate, because, yeah, I know that Pat does not have the money. The money's got to come from someplace, but there's a lot of extra dollars went from our area into the county. And, of course, right now we have no tax collection coming in. We really don't even know what increases we're getting, but they're sort of slow on getting things back out this year, too. But, yeah, I'm as flustered as you are, because last year they were terrible. This year
They're beyond
3 times worse. And, you know, with what he's scheduling to do, and that's why I look at Pine Lake Road, the patchwork he did down there. If that's what he's going to pave over, he might as well not even waste the pavement, because basically he made every hole into a hump, and so now we have a pothole between every patch that they put down. I mean, I really can't drive any faster than I did before. And, so, I don't know if you guys got any suggestions on where we can go on this.
Calling Township's been complaining between 4 townships. I mean, it's not just isolated to our area.
Right.
It's just
Right. And,
Are you guys aware that he was at Smith Township meeting?
Yeah, I was just going to bring it up. He was there.
last week.
yeah, 'cause I knew he was going to be there because he'd been here a few months ago. And
And when he was at that meeting to address the complaints about the road,
okay, what did he have to say?
he has the one time going out with 2 people in it looking for the biggest holes. And they're kind of like the decoy, and they're calling the guys with the 1 ton and telling them, this is where you got to go next, or this is where the biggest patch is. That's how they're trying to get to the bigger holes first, and then they're going to span out and get the rest of them. But he says his equipment is outdated. He's lost his manpower. He's got retirement people just, you know, going down and down and down. He's working with the same funding he had, what, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was.
We all agree with that, but then again, he doesn't want any assistance from the townships to alleviate his problems either.
Well, there you're getting more into, you know, you're touching other issues. You got a union you got to address, and knowing that, you know, some of you people never had any dealings with the union, you can't just go in and do it because it's an issue. I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I'm in a union, and there's a line you can't cross. But when there's issues to safety, then that's when you really, okay, step up and do it. But you have to be able to produce if that was going to be a safety issue.
I agree with what you're saying there, except that a year ago's meeting was brought to us that that's what they wanted to do, and the union was going to have a problem with us assisting them on different duties out there.
You got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to get any better right away, but you got to be careful with that, because you guys could be responsible for paying their wages if you have these guys do that job.
I would love to go to court and fight that one. I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that. That doesn't worry me at all, because, I mean, they're not getting out and doing their job, so, in my opinion, there's enough work out there for them and 100 other people, so that's...
Well, that's true, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of work out there for
yes,
everybody.
I mean, a little bit that we pick up isn't going to hurt their hours whatsoever.
Would you want someone to take money out of your pocket?
Yeah, I mean, if it's taking it out, but truthfully, it's not taking it out, because how's it taking it out when they have all this
You're
work to
taking work
do?
hours away from somebody else's with the bottom line. It don't matter to me one way or another, because I travel these roads daily. I've been going up and down 5th Street that is just, it's comparable to Pine Lake. It's a mess, you know?
You talk about the work hours, those work hours, if they work at the pace they're going now, they'll never have these roads done by September.
You'll be lucky if they get them done the rest of the year.
So, I mean, the little bit we would go out and do is going to take a bit of time off of them.
That's in my opinion, you're looking at the wrong, you're taking the wrong angle on that one.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own opinion, and I've tried to work with them, I want to work with them, but they're getting farther behind every year, and if we go another year like this, we are going to shut roads down, because they're just going to be impassable.
I guess I have a real problem with when it comes to public safety, the union has to be an issue, because it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
I mean, these guys, would you just pay for your new truck, Derek?
Almost $450,000.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking almost a $500,000 piece of equipment that
Right.
you shouldn't have to drive on roads like that, I'm sorry, it's not right.
Right.
Union or no union, it's not right.
Right. That's no different also on the cruisers. We have over at Ben's, he's put new tires on. We got rims that's been on just about every cruiser because of these potholes that's out there. I mean, it's just, with the low pro tires, they don't have any cushion to them, and it's just going to be wear and tear and maintenance on everything. I mean, it's just, but I mean, we know where you're coming from, and we're going to push as hard as you do, so, but I keep calling, keep emailing, keep sending letters, whatever, you know, call your firemen, have them sign a petition form of some sort of your complaints and send that off. I mean, I think the more you get to them, they just keep on file the better, so.
I will continue to beat the dead horse.
And, you know, maybe through your Fire Chiefs Association, maybe they can come in a different angle too as a group, and because of the safety issues and so forth. You know, at hazmat, we're going to discuss it at our next meeting. We missed one this month. Next month we're having another one, so we're going to discuss that too, because them coming out, they run into the same issues wherever they're doing traveling these roads. And their equipment isn't cheap either, so.
Definitely.
Well, I think, I stopped at the county garage, I'm going to say last Wednesday, to report a stop sign down at the corner of Johnson and Best Road. One guy in the backhoe, there was 2 guys hooking up chains to ash spreaders, and the other 4 gas. And a lot of times you'll see them go out of there with what I'm calling one backhoe bucket full of cold mix, or HPM, whatever you want to call it, and that's good till noon. Then we might get another bucket full, and that's good. Jim, take you an hour and a half to get rid of a backhoe bucket full. Well,
On their roads, less than that.
probably about half an hour. HPM is no fun to handle. Jim will agree with me there. But, you know, they're getting a decent pay. Give us a decent day's work. You know, nobody wants to work in the rain. But there's 4 guys in that 1 ton. Okay, you got one that's a driver. You know, you have 3 guys shoveling. I mean...
On Pine Lake, they had 4 shoveling.
Okay.
And 2 riding in the truck.
And what got me is, they come out with a full load in a big truck, and the little 1 ton behind. He's sort of the safety guy, I guess, for behind. But as soon as the truck's empty, they all leave to get back to load. Not have another truck that's loaded come out and just keep moving down the road. No, they're gone for 2 hours before you ever see them back. They average 2 loads a day is all they could get down. 4 days to do 1 mile Pine Lake Road.
No, wait a minute. That's not a mile.
Well, Okay, whatever it is, a little less than a mile, but it took 4 days on that. The only thing I will have to disagree with what you said, the one day was raining and they actually were up patching on a rainy, drizzly day. It wasn't a pouring down rain. They were actually, I was really shocked.
Because they was down there a week ago Friday, and I thought, oh boy, this ought to be good. And I think they filled 4 or 5 holes that day, pretty close to the Duck Creek intersection. But then
They finished it Friday.
this past Friday.
Correct.
We were laughing at them at lunchtime.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's,
Oh, they were going on Fifth Street too. So they were able to make it 5th Street and Pine Lake Road on Friday then. They was done, by 1 o'clock they was done. They were down at the intersection and then they was through.
but, I mean, that's just what it is, and I guess we'll just keep making contact, so. Anything else, Jerry?
Yes, it's this time of year when people are out burning. Obviously, we've been very busy with that as well. I would like everybody to know, since the media is here, that if we get a call for any type of burning complaint, we have smoke blowing across the roadway, or smoke blowing onto the neighbor's house or into the neighbor's house, we're probably going to extinguish your fire. Don't be burning trash and public waste. And if we start going to places multiple times, we're going to consider billing the actual individual involved. It costs us a lot of money to rule out the door on a repeat offender. And even just burning in the windy days as well. We've already had a structure be consumed by open burning already this year, just over Easter, and then we almost had a garage catch on fire sometime last week. So just use realistically some common sense.
Is there any hour limitations set right now?
For what the state says, 6 o'clock.
Same thing.
But other than that, that's all I have. If there's any questions, fantastic.
Appreciate it, Jerry. Okay, Paul?
Well, I was going to say in a couple of weeks the mowing season's going to begin, but I guess I better revamp that for maybe a few days. So I guess my concern is we know the tow vehicle is not in too good a shape, and I haven't heard any discussion on it. And I would hope that sooner or later that we can talk about that a little bit. And anyway, I went to a Green Team meeting here recently, and they gave us a report card for last year's recycling throughout Mahoney County. I thought I'd share a little bit of this information with you. And what it does is it takes into account how many pounds were collected over the year versus what the population is. And they break that down into all the different communities in Mahoney County. Goshen came in 9 out of 25, so you go down the list, we're number 9, and that works out to 91 pounds per person over the past year. So, we're number 9 on meter 15 below us. So I guess we're hanging in there pretty good in that regard. In a little over 4 weeks, it'll be our scrap appliance drive. The date is 16th of May. It's open to Goshen Townships and also residents in surrounding areas. This is an opportunity to get rid of out-of-service appliances like humidifiers, AC units, stoves, washers, maybe an old fence post, plow shears, wheelbarrow, whatever. It's a great time to do some spring cleanup, so keep that in mind. The bin will be at the garage complex on Seacrest Road for a week. And while this event is not a moneymaker per se, it does provide a little extra money for our coffers. So it's a win-win event, and I encourage everybody to get involved. There's flyers on the table, like so. So pick a flyer up if you like, and kind of help me get the word out. Also on the date, May 16th, there's a hazmat collection at the fairgrounds, so if you got some concerns about that, you might want to make a note on that date. May 16th, hazmat collection at the fairgrounds. Looking ahead, our annual scrap tire, scrap electronics drives, and customer appreciation day will be September 19th. I had to change it from the 12th, so it's going to be on the 19th. I've already secured the vendors, and I've got a new company going to do our electronics this year. And it's going to be a flat $5 charge for TVs and CRTs. So that should help out a lot. There won't be any charge for flat screen monitors or TVs. But I think the fact that we can get rid of any kind of TV for $5 is a bargain. So that's something I'll have more information on that then as the date gets closer. That's all I have.
Okay, a couple questions for you on September 19th, since you changed the date. Have you let Lou know the date change?
Yeah, I was at a meeting and we changed it.
I know you had it already in the schedule, so I just want to make sure of that. And on the scrap drive, have you contacted Alliance, or do you want me to contact them?
I haven't contacted anybody yet.
Okay, I'll just go ahead.
Wanted to get together with you.
Yeah, I'll get that set up for them, so, okay.
Paul, you said the bin was going to be at the Township Garage for 1 week for the appliances type thing. Is that the week prior to the 16th or from the 16th?
No, it starts on the 16th. 16th to the 23rd.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Steve?
Okay, for the month of March, total 6,958 miles on cars. Had a total of 566 events. I added that up on how that was. We'll blame it on Kevin Howe.
Okay.
Relatively quiet month. I'd like to thank Jim for keeping our plow out. He did a good job this year. The only other two things I have is, at the last meeting it was discussed and voted on for the uniform allowance. And there was a couple mistakes that was made. Me and Tom sit down and worked them out. Our part-timers now currently get 150. With the extra that they will be receiving, they will be going to 225. And our reserves currently get 75. With the change, though, we'll be going to $110 a year uniform allowance. That'll make up for the, there was a difference on what their numbers actually were. They don't make the same as full-timers, but they did get an increase, which will make up for that.
I'll make a motion for the revision on the uniform allowance for the part-time reserve employees.
I'll second the motion for the revision.
Roll call vote, Mr. Heineman.
Yes.
Mr. McCracken.
Yes.
Mr. Beeson.
Yes.
The only other thing I have, asking trustees to approve hiring or promoting, I'm going to screw this name up, Khalid Abu Ghaman, he's one of our part-timers, to moving him up to part-time, he's reserve now. He's worked out, got his probation up, so we're going to be requesting him to be moved up to part-time. You can do that, Tom, whenever it works for the schedule. Hopefully it'll pay him.
On the chief's recommendation, I make a motion that we promote Mr. Abdu to part-time officer.
I'll second it.
That's it.
Roll call vote, Mr. McCracken.
Yes.
Mr. Heineman.
Yes.
Yes.
Call Steve.
Here, I'll move this.
Yes, right up here.
I guess I'll beat the dead horse too. Roads are pathetic. I don't understand why you drive out of Mahoney County to Columbiana County, and the roads get a lot better as soon as you cross those county lines.
Wish I could answer that.
Yes. Talk to Tom Clocker, who drives everywhere. Mahoney County's the worst county in a 5-county radius. And he ought to know because he's on every road there is.
You know,
From snow removal to road repair, it doesn't matter.
I think the biggest issue I see Columbiana versus us is the working relationship that Bert Dawson has with all the townships. I mean, I've never seen such a working relationship as he's had all the years he's been there. I mean, just what he does on their chipping and sealing their roads, the township, all they have to do is pay for the materials, he furnishes the equipment, the trucks. You know, this has been ongoing. And I don't know why Mahoney can't at least pick up on a little bit of that and learn that way. But, you know, there was talk for a while that he was working with Bert, trying to come up with some of his ideas, but I don't know whether they just got tired of working with the union and just backing down, or if it's just, I wish I could answer it, I just don't know. But it's just a bad situation. And other counties, other ways I don't go to as much, but Columbiana we all go to, we see what happens down there. And just what we've had dealing with Perry Township, how they work with them, like doing our section of Pine Lake Road down here, you know, that benefited us with Bert helping doing that because we paid for material only. And he does good work too. I mean, he knows what he's doing. And, so I fully agree with you. I just wish there was an answer.
I can't believe they're not going to get sued. Sooner or later, we're going to have a motorcycle laid over on these holes. These holes, I mean,
Yeah. And,
if somebody's unfamiliar with the area, and Western Reserve's going to open up here pretty quick, I would think somebody called Beatrice Harshman and sue the pants off them because it's pathetic.
I mean, it's no different in these major intersections. They have to have so many fatalities before they do anything about it. I don't know why it has to come to that, but unfortunately, what you said, that's what's going to happen. And, I wish I had an answer.
Has anybody called to the county during, we'll call it regular hours, between 8 and 4 or whatever, and say you hit a pothole? Call and see what kind of remarks you get. Well, we're sorry, but maybe you should travel a different route.
Now, is that a county garage over here, or are you calling Youngstown?
Call Youngstown.
Because I was told that that's what they were saying over here, at
Well,
the depot.
Supposedly Youngstown, from what I was told.
And Pat told them at the meeting last week, he said he would not accept that kind of conduct from his employees. That if that is the response that they got, he wanted to hear about it.
And who it was.
And who it was, when, where, and what was said, and he would deal with it. I forget what total figure. He had a total of how many calls he got in on the roads, and it was ridiculous. It's ridiculous how many calls they got in about complaints on the roads. And he said, we're keeping a tally on them. He goes, but you got to call, because somebody called, that was a local person, called over at the depot over there, and they got lippy with him over there, and he goes, no, I will not have that. My employees will not talk to the residents of Mahoney County like that. He wants to know.
Well, I called the main garage, our main office, and all I've been told is I'm driving too fast. You need to slow down. I mean, I don't care how much I pick up orders.
I can't get to Bourne unless I go on state route.
Right.
From my house now. There's not one good road between my house and Boardman.
Unless you find all the township roads, and there isn't that many of them.
There's not enough township roads to get me up there, so that's it.
Yeah, I mean, fully agree. Okay, Tom.
I'm going to do the same thing. I mean, I agree with Derek. I mean, you realize how much safety equipment we have. I mean, we've got 2 full-fledged pumpers. We got $1 million in 2 pumpers. We got 2 tankers. Got 2 ambulances. You know, when somebody in this township calls us for an emergency, whether it's the police department, fire department, not only do we have our equipment, but our people are volunteers, so we don't have people sitting at that station. When you have to go 5 miles an hour from our home to the station to get the vehicle, so we can drive another 5 miles an hour to get to your house.
And so my call's 15 minutes longer.
If you're having a heart attack, or you're having an anaphylactic shock, or you have an emergency, or your house is caught on fire, sorry, we're coming, but we'll be here in about 40 minutes because we got to go around and we got to go through the potholes, and because we can't go too fast, and we get there and now the place is half burnt down and you're doing.
What I would like to see, not just speaking that right here, is like, same thing you said, maybe you'd be the perfect one to go to a commissioners meeting. Stand up there.
That was my next agenda. If you folks, you gentlemen have a problem with me going to the next town or community.
You for the fire department on these emergency issue, you probably would have more say on that than we would sitting here, because you are the individuals that can state on the heart attack issue. So if you answer 10 or 15 minutes on this call, that's a life or death situation right now.
Yes.
I mean, I know that as a matter of fact. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in here that probably hasn't used the department of in some time or other during your, you know, and and I get tired of hearing their say, you know, well, we don't have the money here, we don't have. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, last year, donations and the money that we got in is $192,000. Now, we maintain 2 stations and all of this equipment that I just named. Now, doggone it, and we don't get paid, we're volunteers. So don't go telling me that you guys ain't got the money down there. There's money somewhere. And number one is, you're getting paid to do your job, you do it. And just like Roger said, you give us 100% every day that you come in here. If you get your, I don't know how much of a break you get in the morning, if you get a 10-minute or a 15-minute or a half a, then that's all you take.
That's what I wanted to hear from you. I wanted to ask you that directly, because you were a union man all your life.
I've dealt with them. I've dealt with them my whole life.
So, I mean, I want to see what you felt on that, because I have not a thing against unions. They're
and I'm like you. I worked with them for 40 years.
But they've just got to where they've taken too much control, and there's got to be that happy medium there.
I mean, I can tell you one thing. They still say I got to pay this guy 10 cents because I tore his newspaper up and threw it in the trash can. And it'll be a cold day before I pay 10 cents. I mean, 10 cents is 10 cents, but when I tell you to do something, you're working for me, that's what I expect from you to do, and I don't expect you to sit down and read the newspaper. And the third time I tell you, it's going to be disappeared, and that's what happened. And it went all the way to the 4th step, all the way to the Jew. And I said, if somebody wants to pay them, pay them, but I ain't paying them. So, but no, I'm going to go, if you don't, if I can get my schedule worked around, I mean, I'm going to go, and that's what I kind of like to...
Yeah, I support you, and you want to take, Derek, whoever, people were there to get up there and put it to the public up there. I mean, that's another good step to go, because all we can do is just keep voicing our...
We're a multi-million-dollar operation. I mean, you look at what we have in assets.
Yeah.
And we're trying to run it, when we run that on $192,000 last year. And I mean, we pay the heat bill, the gasoline, and just like Derek said, the repairs. Last month, 2 weeks ago, I mean, we put $3,000 into 2 pieces of equipment. It ain't nothing for us to put $8,000 in. I mean, that don't go very far when, but we have to pay to do that to maintain our guys here.
Good place, because Pat will be there at that meeting too, sitting there,
and I'd just like to, what I'd like from him, and what I'm going to ask him is, I want to know your plan. I mean, I know we ain't going to fix everything, but tell us what your plans are and how you're going to do this. I mean, that's what I'd like to know. If we're going to do this road and these roads and this road, this date, this date, this date, but we're not going to be able to do this. Okay, maintain this road enough so it's passable. Just like Derek said, there's some of these roads we need to shut down. Western Reserve, just west of 45. Right there with them. I mean, you can't even find a spot to go from ditch to ditch anymore. Because, I mean, that space in there is this deep.
It's all where the tree coverage is, too.
Yeah.
It's not, we're drawing the roads out, that's where the major issues are.
I haven't been down Middletown Road from Scranton to 45 because I can't even imagine what that must look like. I don't even go down that way. I mean, it's like, I come home tonight and I went up to Leffingwell, took Leffingwell all the way to Huxley, and bring Huxley down to Western Reserve, so then I can come down to Scranton Road and come down, or I go to 165 all the way around. I mean, it's terrible. You got to go 3 times as far as you want to.
Right.
You have to go so you don't tear your car.
Right.
And I replaced 3 rims on my wife's car already this year.
Yeah.
I mean, and thank goodness Chris he found a place I weld them now, so I can get the aluminum rims welded up and balanced, and we go from there. But
There you go.
you know, I'm like these guys. I don't know what we got to do, but if you don't mind, I wanted to let you know that my plans are if I can get things going, and that's what I'd like to know. I'd like to go down and just ask them what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You guys go as safety forces in there, separate from us, and stay to your side of it too. So.
I mean, I feel sorry for any resident in here or any of us. I mean, we might need them tonight. Yeah. I always said that I hope this stuff sits and we never take it out of the station.
It doesn't happen.
But it don't happen that way now. And just like Derek said, Easter Sunday, it wasn't pretty, you know. And I said, you know, one thing about that, I said, when we were wrapping up at the fire down there on Scranton Road, I had a couple stop and rolled down his window and said, you know what, we bless you guys and appreciate what you've done, and this is no place that you'd be on Easter Sunday. It's out here fighting up a fire. So, I mean, that makes you feel good that there is people. I don't even know who the couple was. They just happened to be driving down the road. And I told the gentleman, thank you. I appreciate that, and everybody that was involved in that. I said, because that's our pay for it. That's the most pay you can get. So I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And then, I wonder if it's doing good to send the commissioners a invitation, and we'll take them for a drive around.
Make sure you use their car.
Make sure they sign a waiver.
Well, you know what?
Derek, make sure they sign a waiver.
Yeah.
I have one thing. I just heard on the news the other night, you know, that the auditor got this van that goes around and can take a picture of all of our land to raise our taxes up. Why can't we use that? Why they can't and go drive down these roads and say, now let's look at them. Gee, we need to fix this one now, and we need to fix this one, and we need to at least get this and this and this done on this road so it's passable. Why can't we use some of that sophisticated? We can use it to bring our taxes up, and property taxes higher, as everybody probably knows.
Quite damage their equipment that's in there driving these roads.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm going to ask them that. Why can't you use something like that so you know without us having to call you 500 times and do your job for you?
Show them where the county ends out here.
Yes. I mean, you don't have to show them because, you know, all you got to do is go, oh, gee, this is a good road. It's not Mahoney County, is it?
Yep, that's right. All right. Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, we probably ought to start thinking of what we're going to do with Calla Road up there. Whether give them here sometime. See, we want to cut them spots out, put more base in.
There's more spots that are worse now.
Yeah.
I was up there today.
I think we ought to kind of get some type of plan together here pretty quick. You know, it don't have to, something we don't have to do all at one time, do sections of it whenever kind of suits Jim. So, I think that's something we better
That's what Tom and I were talking today here is what we was thinking of doing, told him, I said, I thought it was let Jim give us sort of a wish list of what he thought where we should be looking at doing, and then see where funds we got. Start working towards some issues, but, I mean, you're out on the roads more than we are to know where the worst is.
Yeah.
And we knew that one was coming up.
Yeah.
As a definite, we knew that it was an issue.
Have you ever heard anything, Bob, from the people with the
On
wires?
Armstrong, as I told Todd there, I sort of dropped the ball on that one and didn't get back to him, and I actually had called him again today, and we emailed back and forth, and we got miscommunication. He thought it was the one going up the drive, not the one across along the road, so he just left it because that house didn't have cable, and so I didn't get back to him, but I just give him my cell phone. I said, call me, and then I'll meet somebody out there. I should go over the issue. So.
I'm thinking that some, like that P-Cal or something, and so they'll be chopping, and I don't think their trucks will go under that.
Yeah, I don't think they will either. You say that because their trucks are
fairly tall, because I know.
I think they're close to 14 foot on there.
Because I know they kind of watch which oil well drives they go under the wire pretty close.
I know Ruth Ross we measured it and for 14 foot. I think hers is about the same as Ruth Ross is. So I will. Yeah, I'll keep on that one there. And again, that was my fault on that one. So I just will have to go through the winter here. So.
At the end of Mallsbury Road against 165, with some of these hard rains, have you ever looked through that culvert? Can you look through it?
I've talked to ODOT twice on that, and they say that's not their culvert. Usually they partner with municipalities and work together on it, and they said they were going to look into it. I was out there also today, and it's a galvanized culvert. The west side of it's completely crushed.
And the edge of the road's breaking off there on the
And the
west.
edge of the road is breaking off. So I don't know if it may take one of you guys calling and talking to them and telling them it's theirs. It's under the white line. It's their baby. If we got to fix it, we'll fix it. But it needs taken care of.
Who did you talk to?
Matter of fact, when I was up there getting salt, I talked to Joe.
Oh, you talked to Joe. That's what I was wondering. And he's the one that told you that?
Yes.
But you want to stop and talk to Joe on that, Todd, since you're in the area?
I don't know how Paul feels about this, but boy, it's a muskrat problem over there at Bricker Park. Ooh. I was in there probably a little over a week ago.
I quit talking about it, Roger.
You know, I don't know how Paul's going to mow that center island, and they're getting against the Park Drive on it, we'll call it the east side of the walking bridge, pretty bad too. And I don't know if you can trap them or shoot them.
Let's get a hold of these local trappers and see if they've been arrested.
Can they trap them out of season?
If they're nuisances.
Yeah, nuisance, yeah, I think so, because I mean, we would probably have to do a resolution or something to it. I think if they're interested, we could get it where they can. Probably the simplest way, safest way, and you're going to get all these people on you for shooting wildlife.
Okay. Do you have any is it Harley? No.
Yeah, Harley. I don't know if he's still doing it or not. Was there a fireman that struggled for a while around here?
The claim that crew that goes after the coyotes.
That's Schneider.
And
We talked about to get some over a nuisance permit
doing a lot of season. Talked to the wildlife officer, he lived there in 46 or something, or
He lives over on 62, don't he, Bruce?
yeah, he lives 62 right there somewhere.
Give me a guess.
I'll check with him and see what.
I'll see what I can find out there. Okay. That's all I have.
Can I just expand a little bit on what Roger's saying there? I think it's a safety issue too. Picture a young mother coming out there with a couple of little kids. She's got her back there, and one of those kids fall into a hole, they're going to get hurt. Maybe even fall into the water. So it's more than a mowing issue. I think it's more related to safety. I mean, I could weed whack around the holes. It's going to take longer. But I think the safety issue is much bigger. You know, it's something that needs to be addressed by as soon as possible.
On the 28th, Sunday the 28th, they're going to be, the Veteran Services Commission is going to be dispersing flags for the cemeteries for the veterans' graves. I'll go up there and get the graves for our, or get the flags for our graves for our cemeteries. I'll take care of that. Also, at the last meeting, I had talked a little bit about pursuing a possible grant through the United States Department of Agriculture, Rural Development. What I found out, talking with Mr. Anthony Neal at the United States Department of Agriculture, Maslin, we're not eligible for any grants because the township's median income from the last census is too high. According to the census, median income for our township was $51,150. The only other option we have through the rural development is a loan, and at the end of March, through the end of March, the loan rates were 3.75%. Which, I don't know that that's that great of a savings because I know you can get home loans right now, 30-year fixed for 3.75.
I think there's probably some cheaper rates out there than that. So, they have any other suggestions, any other ways to go for grants?
No, basically they just said we weren't eligible for a grant, but we could apply for a, they call it a low interest loan. The other thing, I believe the Appalachian Regional Council has another round of funding coming up. And I think the 17th of April is a meeting to get the packets, and I think those have to be turned in by May. It's something they could possibly consider. If you are pursuing this one.
I'd say I definitely we'll make a meeting and get the packet.
Yeah, if I get the packet,
go through it and see what it actually entails.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the way to go. There's a lot of good from that program in the Columbiana County. I won't get too much up this way.
Yeah. When I talked to Kathleen Zook, she had said that being that this was used by the health department for the health clinics, and Rick was in here, that would all work in our benefit as far as not that we're going to get any funding on that.
Okay.
So it might be worth pursuing. I don't see where we're going to get anywhere with the SBA because I don't think the interest rate is there.
Don't think that's anything I'm interested at this point.
What was the median income again?
$51,150. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right, first thing I've got is we'd discussed last meeting, and we did get to do the tire drive again this year, and I do have the agreement here. We have to approve and sign tonight for $1,500 for doing the tire drive, so I'll make a motion that we accept the agreement for the tire drive on the 19th.
I'll second the motion. We'll do the tire drive.
Roll call vote, Mr. Basin?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes. And we discussed at the last meeting, I didn't try and get in touch with the softball league on the field back here, I've called twice and not got any contact back, so I'll just leave that go till they contact us again. And I've got a letter from the High Division of Liquor Control wanting there's an application for a new liquor permit, 38 Delta Grill, 11718 Salem Warren Road, which is at the air park. And if we have no issues, if we don't want to request a hearing, I can just send this back, or if we want to request a public hearing before we say it's okay. Check this. This here is actually the president is Ben Pigeon. I don't know how it all was involved, but I mean, I knew it was coming, but I just don't know any particulars. So who it is and everything, I don't have any issues. Where it's at, I don't have any issues. Probably something that benefits the township, actually, if we get a nice little restaurant going again. Something, so.
I don't have any issues or never had any problems. They've always been, I have the restaurant, something always pretty decent.
Okay.
It's kind of tough to make a go of a restaurant nowadays if you don't have a liquor permit.
Right. So, okay. Well, this is to be signed by the township fiscal officer, so it's ready to go. Check it. We don't need the hearing and send it back in. So. Okay. This week I did our CDBG grant, picked up the application again at the meeting. It has to be in May 15th or 17th. We want to be pushing the catch basins in Damascus we started on last year on that project, or you want to do something different?
Kind of limited what we can do in the Damascus area.
Yeah.
The income applications. So
it's where it has to be, so it's...
I would say try again for the catch basins.
Since you're going to be talking to Aslex from the state, maybe see if they have any assistance, since we've actually tied in 534 with it this last time, to see if they have any way of helping us maybe gain some points or something, just run it past them while you're there. Okay. I'll go ahead and get everything all updated and that, and so it's ready, and see what else we can add to it. And it's that time of year again, our TARMA insurance renewal. Go up a little bit again. Did everything else on insurance. Too many pages. Yeah, it went up to this year's $19,312.
Probably very close to that.
Then 19,312, and we'll get a refund back of $1362.16 on that through the capital distribution we got last year. So it was already in the budget, so we don't have to make a motion right now.
Does that need signed or anything?
No, just a bill and paperwork. So. Okay. You guys had a copy of the police contract from Boyd and everything. The only thing basically that changed was a little bit of wording, except for the indemnification. Basically, our prosecutor says to remove that whole section. And Lloyd's got a copy in front of them that they're running through their meeting tonight of everything, so they must not have a problem with it either. So, make a motion that we go ahead and accept that, and we'll get Miles again, Tom. $29,520 per year for a 3-year contract, starting May 1. So I'll make a motion that we go into the 3-year contract with the village of Beloit for police protection. That's what the resolution.
Session resolution to contract with police protection.
Roll call vote, Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Beeson?
Yes.
Mr. McCracken?
Yes. And all of us got a letter here from Josh Mandel. He's offering this open checkbook from the state for everybody to go on the web and look, and he's offering to partner with townships and other local government to put theirs on with his. Talking with Tom, we took more his department. He feels the way we put it out here and everything that, and I sort of agree with him. I don't think we need to go any farther. Just another headache he would have to go through to get it down there. And what you guys' thoughts are.
Meeting case we put everything out there as far as finance.
And it's on the web.
Finances every meeting.
Yeah, it's on the web.
It's on the website, yeah.
So,
I can't see duplicating what we're already doing.
that's an easy one.
Is that a motion or just?
No, it was just discussion, so. Okay, and it come up suddenly here on the salt summer fill program after the last meeting. Of course, we already had it in the budget, so we didn't have an issue there. Jim and I talked about it. He talked with Berlin, and we ended up going for 200 ton. Hopefully the price is down like it was last summer. It's a gamble either way, but he's got plenty of room to put 200 ton in, and it's going to be, they're going to, for when they open the bids on that, around May 5th it says, so by next week we'll know how bad we get on it, so. And the last, Paul's favorite thing, band replacement. I know you've been talking about a truck there at Canfield that we could look at. We discussed it a little bit. I mean, if you want to tell a little more about what it is, or...
Up at Canfield, we're replacing our 2006 3/4 ton regular cab forward pickup truck. And I stopped today and talked to Bob Davis from Fairway Ford, and he felt that they could sell it to the township for $4,500, which is the same amount that we're getting trade-in on it. I don't think it's a bad deal. The truck's not in that bad a shape. It comes with a 7.5-foot Myers plow and an 8-foot dump insert for $4,500. It's got the factory tow package on it, brake controller and everything. I don't think it'd be a bad deal. The truck had the front end reworked last fall and it's sailing tire. For the price, I think we can go and look at it. That's not an issue.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like very, for the mileage and everything and the cost with the repairs it's put down, I think it sounds pretty good. It's just, I guess, basically the time issue of when it's going to be available.
Basically, it'd be as soon as the new one comes in.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worth us all to get together and Jim going up and looking at it or whatever, and, to make sure. In the meantime, if we see something else out there, we can always look at it too. Maybe, what do you think you might know on a time frame? Do you know when you're going to order it?
Hopefully I'll have a new one ordered, I hope to order it next week, late next week. And then I'll fix it to come in.
Okay. They get another pickup again, or?
Yeah, basically we're just getting a newer, same pickup truck, just newer.
Okay. Yeah. You got them built to specs, or you just take something that's on the line?
Basically, we just tell them what equipment we want on the vehicle, and they order it for us in the car that we want. And once it's ready.
No, that's not a set answer for you, Paul, but we are looking and going to do something. So this is just a regular cab pickup, so it's not extra long or anything.
I couldn't hear everything Tony was saying. Tell me a little bit more about it again.
It's a 2006 F-250 four-wheel drive. It has a dump insert in the bed.
A what?
Dump insert, like a dump bed in it. It's a regular cab pickup truck with an 8-foot bed. Has the factory tow package with the brake controller and everything.
I probably have to, if I take calves to run it, I'd have to cover them.
Yeah, probably just pretty easy to put a tarp on, I would think.
Yeah, because with that dump bed, it's got the pockets on the side. So.
They have a place where you can just dump up there?
Pardon?
Do they have a place where you can just dump up there since it's a dump bed?
Depends. Sometimes they just take each can and dump it. Sometimes they dump the whole thing.
Yeah. Who knows?
I'd probably be safe and I'd have to take containers.
Yeah, okay.
As soon as I'd go up there with a big bulk and then we can't handle it.
Yeah, okay. Once we look at it, I guess we'll let you and Jim will know, and we'll know a little more where we're standing on it. So, you guys have anything else?
No, I don't have anything.
I think I'll should do a checking on that and talk to them before the meeting. We're checking to see what's the same one, I guess. Okay, if nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Next meeting will be May 11th.